trees are green and overhanging, where the light free and everlasting.
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolane, or they discovered us, all in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there, wipe out indigenous populations, gunboat economies, or they came to do the same for us, or had done to each other. But here...
She spreads her arms.
So you say, Joyce.
There was no one but the Skua, the Liliat Seya, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
What happened? Look around.
So Dolores Day goes from being the authority of the land you're on to the world force. Well done, suzerain.
Revolution, poverty, and the mercurial rise of capitalism.
She nods.
It's raining.
It is. Soon it will be spring and everything will blossom.
The gangs will run wild, jacking motor carriages, ferrying amphetamines through Coal City. Spring is tough in Revachol.
The lieutenant keeps his hand in the rain.
So, you know that picture you have in your head of everything just that we just learned, everything just described about how it was discovered, how people were sent out, and how they came back, you know, just the little timeline of sorts, you know. Just a stop and just a zoom out moment of like, asset-wise, we're standing on a dock talking to the same person from the beginning of the game, and she's just telling us this, and it's just good writing.
Yeah,
that's building this world, right? I do like show don't tell, but when your writing is strong enough, you can actually tell without showing, and do it incredibly successful. And this game, which we have a massive floating history of in our heads at this point, is just us walking around a small map, hearing people's voices for 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
And we've learned so much about the mood, the context, historical events.
Never forget, like, when it comes to the way games are built, like, what the actual assets are. You know, and like what the feeling you get is and what is conveying that. And there are examples of this in other games and other things where like they try to spend all the money to show you like massive cutscenes and things that like will build this up, but don't do it anywhere near as successfully as one old lady on a dock talking to you for 20 minutes.
I will take your advice, Lieutenant Evrart. I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
I thought it was not within your means.
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
What happens will happen.
She takes the end of her rain-slick hand and starts untying the knot.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez, if you handle the situation on the ground.
You're going now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
Damn.
She generally avoids that term with her employers.
Forget about that. What was that about the age of capital only beginning? You need to talk politics with this lady.
Are you fucking kidding me? What? I'm sorry, did that say 92%?
I'm pretty sure it said 92%. Yes. Yes.
Don't forget to shoot the bourgeoisie in the head.
Sorry, I was just still comprehending what was just happening.
We roll.
Don't forget to purge the world of degenerates.
Wouldn't be the first time. 92%. Shoutouts to Dokapon. What further plans do you have for the Age of Capital, ma'am?
Use vague rhetoric, obsessed with its own legitimacy. Like I do.
In short, Harry, we will revoke the pigment standard. Your money will no longer need to be black like chitin, and there will be so much more of it.
Wow.
I know.
She tugs on the rope.
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
How far along is Crenel's investigation?
A confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information.
Good old PMCs, you know? Totally not gonna eventually just go fuck the client and take things into their own hands. Like, don't forget that in the middle of talking to us, right before the loincloth scene, he talked about the men having chatter about switching employers. Right?
Oh, yeah.
One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
She starts the engine.
That's important.
I know, because I, too, am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm not...
Shit. I really like her character. I really, really like her character.
What, like, you can't, like, do you know what it takes to be the CEO of a massive multinational corporation? Like, do you know what kind of inner person it takes? Your dials have to be broken off the charts.
Knowing what goes down.
Some of these stats need to be in the insanely unhealthy places. And like, where you can't possibly function as a normal human being because you're doing this job. You're doing this job, and the moment you have to stop doing this job and live a normal life, you absolutely cannot. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Depending on what you do, where you are, you will have a different set of values, of skills, of outlooks on the world.
The place we worked was a place where when people would get promoted, they would look for certain qualities in you, managerial qualities. And I've been in the rooms and had the discussions with the higher-ups that were basically telling you, hey, so you look like you know how to do this, but just in case you weren't sure, you kind of need to give less of a shit in certain areas. In terms of, like, giving people leeway, in terms of, like, being a hard ass, right? As you put it, like, they will literally, like, give you, like they'll talk to you about it and be like, so, just so you know, you can't let them...
Can't let shit slide.
Can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah.
You gotta ride people. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. And like, if you don't show that you have these kinds of qualities, you don't even get into that meeting. you know. And then there's the ones that come for every level beyond that, where it's like, oh yeah, you definitely have these qualities and you know what's up, and you know it goes without saying that you have to step on these people,
Yeah.
especially for dealing with entry level shit with high turnover.
Yeah.
You absolutely like have to show signs of that to begin with, you know. Isn't everybody a little insane?
You're over-radiated.
How do you keep it together?
Goodbye, Joyce L. Messier.
Goodbye, nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp.
I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing, and I've got it bad.
She points to her heart.
She would die to return to it. The Pale, the past, anything one can return to.
Isn't everybody a little insane?
No, detective. No one's as insane as you.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
I mean, it doesn't answer the question, but sure, Joyce. Sure.
What builds that, Kim? What builds that? How do you keep it together?
The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola, the Volta do Mar. It's used by inter-Easlary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
You could use a little of it yourself.
Like poetry, they said. By Joyce. Joyce L. Messier.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Evrart has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
I'm unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hurt. I'm unsatisfied.
That did hurt. That did hurt. Man, that sucked.
Not for something so significant.
Yeah.
Not for something that is Joyce exiting the story. Absolutely not. We're never going to see her again.
Yeah, good thing we weren't betting money on that one.
Yeah.
So I checked up the Volta do Mar, and it's actually a navigational technique perfected by the Portuguese navigators during the Age of Discovery in late 15th century.
So it's real.
It is a real thing.
Cool.
And basically, they said when returning from the Atlantic Islands, you have to sail far to the west to use the winds, but it was counterintuitive as a sailing direction. Because it was like, don't steer towards the ports of Portugal, but then it worked in the end, this technique.
And what was the actual technique? Like, does it discuss what it literally entailed?
They're
Using the
using
wind. Okay.
different, using the wind to
Yeah.
not take the regular course.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because if you look at the wind currents of, like, and the ocean currents, and you know the direction they're going in, like, there's a very consistent flow that if you're out in if you're out in the Atlantic and the Pacific, like, you can follow. And, like, it's almost like starboard, like star charting, where, like, based on, you can, like, the temperature of the water coming in and the direction it's heading in if you can tell you a lot
Okay,
about
yeah.
where you are, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Which I recently learned about from
Like water currents and stuff.
Yeah, you know, and it explains like why, like, you know, the coasts of where we are so cold, and why the warmer waters go down to where the Caribbean is, and then loop back up, and then head over to like Iceland area.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's like a proper circle of like cooling and heating up that goes down, and then there's
And they go along each other.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And then there's other different like donut circles of like conveyor belts of temperature that like affect the temperature of like the cities we know, and why certain places are colder and warmer. It's a
Yeah.
very interesting thing. Yeah, I saw some. I get some folks would rather we just roll with it, but no, I don't want to. When I'm not satisfied with that and I'm playing this, I want to hear
You're back.
the proper farewell
Good.
to her.
What can I help you with? Matter of
so we're
fact,
just gonna have to
I
do
don't. I have a... Of
That
course.
again.
That's what I'm here for. Oh.
We also didn't get to do any of these,
Yeah.
because this led to the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I was hoping we'd be able to come back to it. So I was also unsatisfied with not being able to do the other things.
Weird. Which isn't as...
The lieutenant might have, but I don't remember you logging anything as anything, Harry.
I have a bad feeling about this. Thank God. And indeed, Mr. Evrart as well.
Right.
I
In
helped
this
him turn up the
investigation,
heat
one
on
may
the
have
borscht.
use for a firearm. Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making?
Unimportant.
The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk, helps them strike.
The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it?
Yes.
Yep.
Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already?
Yes, Detective. What were you hoping to accomplish with this strange thing?
An act born of sympathy for the working man. I set fire to the fumes of struggle.
I worship Al Ghul in many ways.
It's uninteresting. I thought it would make the broth taste better.
Very curious. A very curious thing to do.
Truly. But that's how he operates. He just does things, man. And then talks about them, even if it's inappropriate.
You ever have beer steak?
Beer steak.
Yeah. Steak
No.
steak cooked in beer.
I'm down.
It's a thing.
I'm down. I'm
It tastes
super down.
It tastes good. Like, you're burning away most of the booze, but beer steak is a thing.
Yeah.
A strange equanimity has overtaken the lieutenant. He's just going with the flow now. Easier that way.
Yep. Don't resist. Just lean in. Let the currents take you.
We've broken him. He danced. He was like, you know what? This is cool. We're cool, right?
Volta de Mar.
What else?
Oh yeah. He asked me to open a door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
No, a real door. To a racist's house.
Oh my. A real door?
Yep.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
I helped scare someone for Mr. Clare.
I scared this Gary for Mr. Clare. He got pretty scared.
It was nothing.
It had to be done. I got information. It was useful to the case. This is true.
That's good to hear, Detective. Police work is rarely pretty, but it sounds like you did what you had to do.
Her bartering mind cannot fathom that you didn't ask anything in return.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal. And it was not for nothing.
He turns to you.
This seems serious.
I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Damn. The Union's militant wing organized the lynching.
Evrart says the Wild Pines sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead.
Evrart asked the Union's militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation.
Or we can just tap out. This is telling them about the fake cause. and people involved. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Wild Pines sent mercenaries after the Union and now one's dead. Militant willing to fully cooperate. Yeah, I'm just gonna tap out.
Yeah, not gonna give her any info.
Let's play it safe.
Naturally, Detective. There are lighter topics to gossip about.
She's gonna go back and do her best as far as we know, but what her best will consist of will be using everything that she can, that she knows, to try and convince them to, not create a fucking slaughterhouse here.
Yeah.
Or a prolonged war zone. So it wouldn't necessarily, we don't know how things are going to go and what she's going to handle and what she's going to say and what's going to happen. So I can understand the level of discretion. But I feel as if between her and Evrart originally being set up against each other, that the game plays them against each other and they play you off both of them, and you end up helping Evrart begrudgingly, and you kind of are more affable to her.
Yeah.
But they still are both non-RCM people at the end of the day that can and will use the information you share with them against you, and possibly
That's
make
true.
the situation worse, especially if she's basically referring to her higher-ups, and then it'll be the moral intern making, or not the moral intern, but the Wild Pines people making the decisions. He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
Here.
Here? Oh no. What does that bloated hellbat want with my little cinder block town?
It's clear the village has already grown dear to her. Strangely so. Why did she come here?
Because the light bends around her when she walks through the fucking...
No, don't tell me. I don't want to know what he has in store for this place. Probably a statue. It's a statue, right?
Not quite.
A giant statue of him, or better yet, his twin brother. Practically the same thing, but makes him seem less like a psychopath.
He wants to build a youth center here for the children of Martinez.
I believe I called it the Westboro YMCA Costco. Quite fond of this village, aren't you?
You would prefer something else, not a youth center?
So you can't buy the place?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another.
You've been to Martinez before.
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not.
Sounds like you miss those times.
Fucking... just boating it up with me and the girls.
Yeah, going to the
In our-
shadier parts of town.
In our summers, we were summering. We were summering in the Martinez with our boats, like the girls do.
Ugh.
Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats, like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
She tosses her head.
Oh no, she's sentimental, all right. Why would she come here otherwise?
If you say so.
Why'd you come here then? To this jetty?
I'm over-radiated, Harry. I do silly things sometimes, out of Pale-related illness. Like sail over here. The moral of the story is...
She lists.
Do not spend 22 days a year in Pale transit. Don't waste your 20s slumming it with your stupid friends. And don't deliver Evrart Claire's mail.
Her bony finger is pointed like an arrow at your chest.
you satisfied, Detective? What else can you tell me about your mail delivery quest for Evrart? Do you think it will improve the place? A youth center with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it.
She looks down the jetty remorsefully.
Kind of like the gym from Hajime no Ippo.
The humidity crawls under your skin. Your eyes track her gaze, past the net picker, toward the concrete square of the nameless village off the coast of Martinaise.
Close your eyes.
The concrete plates cross to meet in an abstract shape. In them, small footprints, impressions left by rubber boots.
Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him.
Madam, what size boots do you wear?
What? 35, I think. Why? I have mutant's feet. Very small.
The prints are hers.
You prefer something else, not a youth center?
First, there won't be a youth center. Whatever he has told you or the residents, it'll be something horrific, perhaps even worse than a statue. So, yes, I do.
Like what?
A fishery. I've been speaking with Lillian here. She gave me the idea. The infrastructure is all here, and with my connections... Sadly, it's just one of the million things I'll never get round to. I just have to accept that I'll never be the rich candy girl who goes around solving people's problems with money.
I'd like to hear a conversation between Joyce and Lillian.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'd like to hear what they have to say about Harry. I'd like to hear the roasting that Mr.
That
Dubois
would be so savage.
must have received
Scolding.
when these two talked.
Oh
Fuck a Bechdel test. We're talking about Harry Dubois, and we're roasting his ass. So you're sad you can't buy the place.
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
And now we can do it.
Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come
Ah,
up.
yes.
Now,
We'll be right
what else
back.
can I do for you?
We'll be right back.
Just a
Joyce.
quick progress save.
You're back. Good. What can I... Oh. A takeover. If they're taking it,
Green livery, changing into red, blocked like a cancer of the blood.
then we're talking about a war. They most certainly...
I've seen the Union's forces. It will take more than... I am sure you have...
What do you suggest I do? I'm afraid we won't disco our way out of this one. Do you think it's with... What will I do?
Her arms,
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? It may be the nations who... The Pale was...
each of those expeditions would have been led
There was
political.
no... Until after...
called Volta Doma.
The 8th expedition returned, saying slowly...
The air is... There are rain circles. So does the droplets.
The phenomenon had... But they could not...
You've thought it a million times.
A total shift. 4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The first... In your defense...
There was a sting in your heart at the mention.
On Caillou. The nations... But these other... There was no one but the Skua.
What happened?
The Liliat Revolution. It is.
The gangs will run wild, jacking motor carriages, ferrying amphetamines through Coal City. Spring is tough in Revachol.
I will take your advice, Lieutenant.
She puts her hand.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel.
What happens when the age of capital has only begun?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let...
There are no employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
You are Wild Pines. There are no employers. Interesting.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
She turns to you, rope in hand.
I've spoken to them on the radio.
That's right, Detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in motion.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not. Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, even the lieutenant cannot really say.
It's true. Even after all this time, I still don't really understand who you are or what your angle is.
I answer for my own actions. I don't hide behind a faceless organization.
Here I am. I am the face, and I'm here to answer. Rejoyce Layton.
Understood?
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
Even though it was correctly used, we still need to let you two dodge that word.
True.
How far along is Prunell's investigation?
The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches protect their targets soon. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I know, because I too am in... No, Detective.
Don't worry, madame.
Yep.
I'm overexposed.
She would die to return to it.
The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral...
You could use a little of it yourself.
Oh, there's a new line.
Goodbye, Rejoyce Layton.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
I appreciate the swerve.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Evrart has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
That's been taken care of.
The Insulindian miracle.
You were reminded of a poem somewhere deep inside you, the translation of which you don't remember. Nulla sarà cambiato della luce, it begins. Colori come grigio e marrone, tutti stampati uno sull'altro, trovai un vuoto, una macchia bianca. Altri guardarono, che bella giornata, che bel tempo, la sentita rotativa. You were reminded of it when you heard about the discovery of Insulinde. But what does it mean? And how do you know it by heart?
Holy shit, Reggie, that was really impressive.
Yeah, I guess.
That was awesome.
I'm not sure about... You see that GLI in Li Altri Guardarono?
Yeah.
I can't get that pronunciation properly. There was some Italian girl that I used to know back in the days, and she was trying to tell me how to pronounce "gri," but I could never get it. And she was laughing at me. It was a good time.
Well, nevertheless, dude, di molto.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a few more tasks there. It's true. Plaisance and the Dice Maker.
Wow. Yes. Let me just see something real quick. I think... hidden is hidden. Okay.
Okay, stats.
Rejoice.
She's gone.
Indeed, she is.
Joyce and Classier. Excellent characters.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I mean, to be honest, most characters are excellent. It is about to hit 2 o'clock. Let's see what we can squeeze in today. They're probably gone. Evrart is Evrart. We can do the phasmids.
Fucking phasmid.
We can do the phasmids. We can look at the statue. And I think that's about it. And we can also play a 2 a.m. board game with Kim, even though he'd probably hate us for it.
Come on, stay up longer, Kim. What about that blank wall? Do you remember that one? And there was like a check for like...
That was
Not the one with the holes. The one down in the city that's just blank.
Oh,
and Kim is like, why are
yes.
you always dropping here?
Yes. Okay. I think because I was like, yeah, there was a very good scene with the executions.
The locusts aren't doing all too well, but they're still in there.
Not the first one.
Oh, which one is it? Was it like southwest of the Feld building? Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I remember we got a little lost trying to get to it before.
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth.
Yell ho into the slit.
What's in there?
Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer.
Kim, any idea what's down there?
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here.
Think we might find Ruby down there?
We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachol sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. In conclusion, she could be under any building.
But not in there.
I hope not.
Oh.
There's no echo and no answer.
Okay, well, please don't accidentally pull us into some progress. No, this was towards the boardwalk. Do you remember how to get there? I'm forgetting.
I think from where you were checking that previous trap, if you go west and south. So these weirdos are gone. And then go to left on top here. Yeah.
I feel like this was it. And then
this
hooking
way.
south. Yeah, that's what it was.
Morel's trap stands empty, just like the boathouses around it. The reeds chafe against one another while the rain falls.
Release the locust to the empty trap.
The locusts, dazed from being transported, slowly begin to acclimate to their new surroundings. They're not really going to get the chance to get comfortable here.
Good, now that's done. When do you think we will return to our impending apocalypse of a murder investigation?
In due time.
Don't answer that. It was a rhetorical question.
Alright, never
He
mind.
doesn't want to. But if there is one more cryptozoological runaround, he must force the investigation back on track. This better be it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Report to Lena.
Okay.
Check
End
out
of
the
day.
statue.
Oh no, they're probably sleeping though. That'll be for tomorrow.
Yeah. And then we also have the yeah, that stuff.
All right. So the monument.
Let's just see if it's a possibility. I wouldn't. I don't mind, getting stuff done while we can. We're definitely going to be able to read on our own in the room. I won't force Kim to play the board game now.
If you read a book and Kin is there, are you sharing ideas with him as well?
I have no idea. If we need to kill time, we'll be able to do that. But I hope that we are given an opportunity to do so with a time limit of some kind, perhaps at some point in the future.
An old monument stands in a matrix of metal tubes and wooden. There are no lights that spell out your name. The old king looks defiantly.
Yeah,
Not a good track record of mental health
Eh?
in that family.
nothing new. So then this, we're just gonna have
Do
to
we have
wait.
to go later again?
Yep,
Yeah,
we're just gonna have to wait on it. A lot of things we gotta wait on right now. All right, let's take that as a sign of the end of the day.
Hi, Kim. Oh, you even walked us all the way here.
He did.
Hey, thanks a lot, buddy.
Have a good one.
We had a good day, didn't we?
Very, very big progress was made. Not on the murder case, but we sure did fucking we bonded.
Hey, nice move, by the
We
way.
got our groove on.
Nice moves.
It's getting late, and it's raining. Time to call it a day.
Night,
Good night,
Kim.
Kim.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Perfect. Whew. And at the end of this adventure, we're gonna be working together, maybe.
Well, didn't we said we'd take some time to work on his car, though.
We want to replace these lights that he has.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the Delaman. We've got Dick Mullen in the case of the mistaken identity. We've got a primer for small kids, and the board game. I feel like reading the kid book. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, maybe that could help in the future, Get out of the shack, know what to say to the kids, how to talk and reach them.
Okay. A textbook for the first grade. Book for primer. A primer for small kids. A book for the first grade in the primary school. On the cover, a humanoid teddy bear is pushing a wheelbarrow full of letters. He's not doing a good job. The letter S is dangerously dangling from the cart, while E fell off a long time
no.
ago. Children should pay more attention.
E's a really important letter, too.
It's very important.
Jeez.
You hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. There's a bear involved.
Exactly what I need.
This book will show you the score, get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life.
Yeah, what do the kids learn in grade 1 in this world?
The alphabet.
Flip through the pages.
Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. Most of them are scientific and cultural principles. It goes as follows.
Alright, let's do this.
A is for azimuth. B is for boreas. C is for cosine. D is for diamite. E is for ellipse. F is for phlogiston. G is for gamete. H is for homeboy. I is for econ. J is for Eura. K is for collapse. L is for laudanum. M is for myriad.
Drugs.
N is for nadir. O is for aureole. P is for perihelion.
Yeah?
Q is for quasar. R is for rhododendron. S is for sinus. T is for tricolor. U is for ultra. V is for vector. W is for Wahrheit. X is for xylophone. Y is for Ustava.
Ustava.
Z is for zenith.
Of course. Grade 1. It's good.
That's it. You know the alphabet now.
In what is called the IL, the international language developed by scientists from Grad in the 20s, sinus means sign, for example. Well, maybe we wouldn't complain about the education system if we had that to learn the alphabet, huh?
A is for anti-disestablishmentarianism.
A, anticonstitutionnellement. Damn.
But P is for pseudo-anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Oh, damn. P is for ping pong. That's all I got. Go on and play, kids.
Dick Mullen. We did the Heimdallman.
We did Heimdallman versus Devil Woman.
Devil
I don't
Woman.
know if we did the Man from Hamlet.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Let's do Dick Mullen.
Mullen.
Let's get into the fucking the black and white L.A. noir.
Another Dick Mullen book that woefully misrepresents the nature of police work. In this one, our detective returns from a trip having successfully solved one case, only to embark on another. Does he finally face the taxing nature of his occupation? No, he doesn't even look like a normal officer of the law.